long, short version of how and why I swapped an LS motor into my car with all used parts, and why everything's pink. You're probably wondering, why do you have a pink motor? Why do you have pink valve covers? Well, this is why. So I got a 4.8 LS motor from a buddy of mine for 60 bucks that had been sitting in the dirt forever. I picked it up because I figured the thing's gotta be good, right? And it's 60 bucks, price is right, whatever. I'll just sit it on the shelf for a rainy day. Fast forward, I ended up meeting David Freiberger at the Long Beach swap meet and buying parts off of him. While I was there, I talked to him and he canceled an event called Drag Weekend West, which is what I'm building my other car for, my Maverick. So I was a bit bummed about that, and I always told myself, if I ever see that guy, I'm just gonna get him and ask him why he trashed my event, because I was bummed when they canceled it. Well, I actually got my chance and I talked to him, and he said because the zip tie drags replaced it because they had better participation, people liked it more, and whatever. So I was a bit bummed leaving the thing going, oh man, that sucks that they canceled my event. But I knew I had this car at home. It had a V8. I had about a month to get to the zip tie drags, and I figured, you know what? I always wanted to LS swap it. I didn't have a reason to. And now I have the perfect combination of an event to swap, an event to go to, and a reason to put an LS in it. It did have a 327, it ran and drove, but it was very anemic, it would barely power brake, and I figured, you know what, this is my chance and a reason to put the LS in a timely manner for this event. They have a thing called the Hoopty Challenge, which is a $3,000 car challenge. Your car has to be worth less than $3,000. You enter your car, everybody judges if it is or not, and then it's a heads-up style drag race, winner take all at the end of it. So that was what I wanted to put the LS in this car for, and the reason I had to do it. The reason the motor is pink is because when I cam swapped the motor, I tore the engine block all down. This thing was just greasy, dirty, 3 million miles. I don't even know how many miles were on the motor. And I ripped the cam out and I'll slide the new one in. I didn't clean anything. My buddy's like, you're not gonna clean the motor? And I said, I don't even know if it runs. Why would I waste my time cleaning it? So at that point, we're just laughing because it's completely the wrong way on how to do something from a technical standpoint. So rip it all apart in the driveway, and I'm putting the cam in. I was like, oh wait. So I take a picture of the cam hanging out of the block with, it has lube on it at this point, and I put a caption up on the Sloppy Mechanics public forum that said, I know the cam bearings in this motor are good because I didn't even look at them. Well, when I got home that evening after finishing assembling the motor at my buddy's house, I posted it on the forum and it went nuts. Everybody started giving me so much crap and then just trying to tell me how it wasn't gonna work and I was an idiot and so on. And the more people said crazy stuff or like just downplaying it and down talking like you're an idiot and all that, I would just start saying outlandish shit and having a good time with it. I was telling people that it's magical unicorn piss all over it. I'd put hot sauce on the cam before I put it in, and the ketchup cam install is what I called it. I said I put ketchup on it and then slid it in for lube because I didn't have any lube. And when I assembled the motor, I used all used parts. So everything on it, head gaskets, I reused the torque to yield head bolts. Every piece of component, even the cam I put in was a reground cam, but it was previously used and taken out of a different motor. So lifters, you name it, everything was used that went back in that motor. 2 days later, I fire it up, put that back on the internet, and now nobody has anything to say. So at this point, now I'm gonna have some fun because everybody roasted me. Now I did what I said I was gonna do, and nobody really has anything to say, because what do you say? So I went ahead and gave them something to talk about. I reused a bunch of, I didn't reuse it, I had a bunch of candy paint left over from some job I was working on, and it happened to be candy magenta House of Color. So I did a full-on tri-stage House of Color candy magenta paint job on the engine, and then posted that back on the same forum with the title The Ketchup Cam Install Motor or something like that. And then people ran with that one again because now you got a pink motor. Now they forgot that it runs and they forgot how dirty the thing was. Now it's just pink and you're gay and all this other stuff. Well, I had fun with that, so then I put little stickers of dicks all over it, and I said I was the Oprah of dick giving that day, and I was like, you get a dick and you get a dick, you all get dicks, and I put that up. And that was the last time I got jumped on the forum and put a bunch of stuff up. But essentially I was just doing it to bait all the trolls and to have some fun, and then it kind of stuck because the pink is just, it just pops out and it's funny. And in all reality, this is supposed to be my wife's car at some point anyway, and I don't really care. I'll drive around a car with a pink motor, it doesn't bug me one bit. So that's the story of how and why I swapped the LS motor into the Maliboom, and the reason it is pink. I did make it down to the zip tie drags. I made one pass, it was horrible. I ran like a 16.2, I believe it was, at like 91. I've got the time slip somewhere, it's not really much to be proud of, but it is the first pass the car ever made. The event got rained out, so I decided I wanted to do donuts in the parking lot, and I ended up hammering the hell out of the motor, floating the valves, and it ate the regrind cam that I had in it. So now I actually want the car to run at this point. I get it home, it runs, but it's not running good. Break it all down, find out the cam is bad. So now we are on rendition number 2. This is a 5.3 engine I got from one of my Instagram followers. I put the word out saying that I need the 5.3 because when I messed the cam up in the 4.8, if I put a new cam back in it, I'd have to go back to the dyno. Well, if you're gonna go to the dyno, you wanna make more power. You don't wanna make the same number. And I already made decent numbers. I made 290 and 241 torque with the 4.8, and that's pretty good. I probably could have made a bit more, but you're stretching it at that point. I knew if I put a 5.3 in, we could make X amount more and it'd be easily attainable, and I wouldn't get disappointed making the same number when I went back. So that's why I went 5.3. I didn't go 6.0 because those cost a bunch of money, and 5.3s are plentiful, so I figured we'll just do a 5.3 this time. Cheap, easy. And then what I did do is I took all the reused parts that I built the initial 4.8 motor with and slapped them all on this 5.3. I got this 5.3 as a short block, so the heads, everything are off of the 4.8 that are now my 5.3. But what I did do differently is I did buy a new cam, and I did buy new lifters this time because I want it to live a little bit longer. It's still in the same springs, which are blue springs, the LS blue springs, and those are takeoffs. Those were essentially new when I used them on the 4.8, so technically now they're used. So what we have now, this is the Maliboom 2.0. It's an LS 5.3 Gen 3 motor. All the parts are reused off of the 4.8 onto this one. So the heads, intake, injectors, all of that stuff just transferred over. So essentially this is a short block 5.3 with all the parts off of the 4.8, and then I did buy new lifters and a new cam. So this has a sloppy stage 2 cam, you can look that up on Jegs, and then just a $100 set of lifters, whatever the stock lifters are for this motor. So that's it, nothing too crazy, too special, and it was re-dyno tuned. It made 309 to the wheels, and then we did, I don't know what the torque is because the torque sensor on the dyno was actually busted that day. It's not an excuse, it was actually just lines all over the place, and he pointed out one, he said, oh, this could be it, but I don't like could be's, I like real numbers. So that is it. That is how and why I have a pink LS motor under the hood of my Maliboom. If you like this video, stick around because we're going to be putting this thing on E85. We're going to do a flex fuel conversion, then I'm going to drag it all the way to Vegas for LS Fest and see if I can run a better number there than I did at the Tucson zip tie drags. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and click the chicken.